In this video I want to talk about two things. Check out this beat. By the way, this part has nothing to do with the stuff that I want to show you. I am just showing it to you because I think it's nice. But now, Graphiti. You already know it from my earlier video, maybe. Okay, enough. As you can probably tell, this patch consists of a lot of saxophone samples. So a bunch of one-shots and a bunch of licks basically, but all very short samples. Then I randomly clicked on this and generated, and then yeah. Rest is history. What makes it special is that this whole sequence does not even play different melodies. It is just one note, sometimes with an interesting rhythm, but essentially just one note. But still, it created sort of a glide. And the reason for that was because I automated the pitch parameter with this curve. This one. Yeah, what I really like about this technique is that you can make very sharp turns on these automations and it will not result in a discontinuity or something. This whole algorithm, it will just keep on doing its thing before it resettles to a new value. It will finish what it left off with. That's also why at the end it doesn't immediately stop, but it still plays a bunch of notes before actually stopping. You could bounce it out like I did and then reduce it if you didn't like it, but I liked it, so I kept it there. And the second thing is, I want to remind you of my plugin Absorbiere, because you know, I just released it really quickly, didn't even make a video about it. Some people might have watched it, don't even know what Sidechain Ringmod is. Or maybe you think, well, it's not for me, it is a bass music thing. And today I want to show you that it's also useful in music that actually has dynamics, like this music. As you can see, I mean, it is leveled well, but it is not overly squashed. There is not a clipper on everything. And that makes a big difference, because usually Sidechain Ringmod is a technique that was only used by people who clip everything, because you have to keep something special in mind, and I wanted to avoid the need for that. So let's check out this part. Now the bass didn't even need a Sidechain Ringmod, because it already only plays whenever the kick is not playing. But the clap has an instance. It is sidechained to the kick. As you can see, whenever the Sidechain Ringmod is enabled, the clap kinda wraps itself around the kick more tightly. It does not make the waveform poke out. That is how Sidechain Ringmod is traditionally used to reduce peak levels. It introduces a very crunchy sound because what it essentially is, it is some sort of wave shaper that works similar to a ring mod because it's also about multiplying signals together, but there are some other processes in it that you don't really have to understand to use the plugin. All you have to know is that it sort of tries to make up for the sidechain inputs waveform on the main waveform. So the clap's waveform is being transformed in a way that it makes space for the kick without the need for envelope followers like in a compressor. And this ultra fast response that is 100% sample accurate, it just distorts the clap a lot. But since the clap is already much in the high end, you can just do that and it will not change the texture a lot. You just get headroom for free. So here we have a conga sound, and the conga sound has an Absorbiere instance that is sidechained to the bass line. Can you hear it? It's actually hard to hear. Let's turn off the bass line. And now you can hear it. You see, that is the thing with Sidechain Ringmod. You can just slap it on things, and if you listen to them in solo, you can hear the other things kind of shining through. But once you listen to it together, it just works. Sometimes it gets a little bit crunchy, but oftentimes it is actually a cool kind of crunch. That is exactly why I wanted to have this technique to be available in music that is not meant to be hard clipped, because the crunch is nice. And you can use it even if the music is not meant to be completely removed of dynamics. Now here we have a whole group of sounds that is called energy. Now this is crunched a lot. If I turn it off, and that's because it is actually mapped to the entire kick and bass group. I hope you can hear the crunch. You know, I'm reducing peak levels, but I'm also getting a nice crunch. It's like a win-win situation. Only if you overdo it, it's not so nice. And at some point you will even get peak levels up again. If you want to find the optimal place where you have the minimum amount of peak levels, you just have to press this button, let it run for a while. This is the optimal peak level point. Basically, the only thing you can do from here is not turning it up, but turning it down if you want less of the effect. So this is like the knob where you can set the compromise between Sidechain Ringmod and not Sidechain Ringmod. Turning it down gives you like the minimum amount of Sidechain Ringmod. Easy as that. Okay, here's also another interesting situation. Here are two instances of Absorbiere. Let me turn off one of them for now. Only check out this one, because this one is part of an instrument layer and the sidechain input is mapped to the output of the other track. So the one track is this. Just a clean square wave patch, and the other one, it uses a fast LFO to create a corrupt sound. And now by using Sidechain Ringmod triggered by the other sound, it gets even more crunched. And you see, I like to keep it as subtle as possible so that it's just a psychoacoustic thing. You get a little bit of headroom, you get a little bit of crunch, but since you have so many instances of Absorbiere in your project, it's okay. You should not have more of that if you still want your music to be pleasurable and if you want each sound to have its own texture, not just crunch, you know? And then Absorbiere on the end to also get it to sidechain with the kick bass. Now let me use it for you while you just watch, and you can see how easy it is to use. Let's say I'm in this part. And I recognize that the kick gets buried a lot. Which is okay, because it should be quite an overloaded part, but I could still go ahead and say, okay, this up could go out of the way a little bit more, right? Why not? Absorbiere, sidechain input coming from the kick, which is here. And now clicking on this thing, and it's set up. You can essentially not hear the difference, but you still get peak level. You just have to check if in the part that is a little bit less crowded, it still sounds good. Yeah. Maybe a little bit less. Yeah, and that's why you should use Absorbiere. It's a really small plugin, but it is actually powerful. And I use it myself. I'm a little bit surprised actually that I like a plugin I made myself that is not packed with features. But here I am, I'm using it. So now you can use Sidechain Ringmod in projects that are any genre.